going on, YouTube? I'm sitting here back again, trying to answer who really is the faithful and discreet slave. But before I do, man, I've been reading the comments on a video I had, and one individual came on there and said I would never wake anyone up. Well, my brother, my friend, I'm here to tell you, I'm not here to wake anybody up. Alright? I'm not here to wake anyone up because you can never wake anyone up. Alright? I'm not an alarm clock to wake anyone up. When it comes to waking people up, something has already woken them up. And that's why they're here watching me. Alright? I'm going to let two of my friends tell you what I'm trying to do with my videos. Alright? The first one is my friend Eddie Griffith. We used to tour the country together back in the day. Alright? So, Eddie Griffith, tell them what I'm trying to do or accomplish with my video. Because I'm not here to wake anybody up. So y'all can get that out your mind right now. Eddie Griffith, tell them what I'm trying to do with my videos.
Think! It ain't illegal yet. But they working on it.
You got it now? I'm not here to wake anybody up. I'm here to make y'all think. Alright? Now besides him, there's another homeboy I used to have back in the day, Quaid. Y'all remember Quaid? God rest his soul, man. He got killed in cold blood because when you telling the truth, people gonna kill you. Quaid, tell them when they watching my video what they need to do while they watching my video.
Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind.
See, y'all got it now? I'm trying to get you to open your mind and think as I talk. I'm not here to wake nobody up. Alright? So now, without any further ado, what I got right here is classified information. Alright? Classified information. Because as I said in this video, by claiming that the faithful and discreet slave is 7 men in New York, that's a blasphemous statement. I'm going to tell you why. But first of all, when it comes to that faithful and discreet slave, it's interesting that that's only mentioned one time in the Bible. Actually twice in Luke. But Matthew 24, verse 45 through 47. Alright? Interesting that the Jehovah's Witnesses will look at this verse and say that, oh my God, we have a faithful discreet slave who is over all the domestics. Alright? So I'm going to read this before I go into this classified information. I'm going to tell you why I got this right here. But let me read this to you. Alright? Because from this right here, the whole theocracy or the whole hierarchy of the Jehovah's Witness religion is based upon this verse right here. That Jesus asked the question, did he even answer it? Jesus asked the question, did not even answer it. And the Jehovah's Witnesses go here and they answer it for them. So anyway, Matthew 24, 45 through 47. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom his master has set over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Alright, so as you know, it said servant, and that's because I'm using the English Standard Version for anybody who's wondering. Not to brag or, put myself up, but I have read different translations of the Bible. I have 13 different translations of the Bible, right? And this year, I'm going through this English Standard Version. Each year, I try to go through each different one, all right? I don't use just the New World. I don't use the King James. I use different ones, all right? So this year, we're in this one right here, all right? So it says, who really is the faithful and wise servant? Now, why do I say that's blasphemous to say that there's only 7 men in New York? Right here, I got a classified folder for you guys, right? Why do I use this? Because I'm copying off the elders in each congregation. Do you realize in each congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, there is a classified, or there is a folder on each publisher in the congregation that no one will ever see but them elders. Them elders know who you sleeping with. They know where you come from. They know your phone number, your address. If you had a judicial committee for fornication, they know how many times you an orgasm doing your fornication, man. I mean, there was times that when I had my judicial committee, I went in there and I confessed that, you know, I fornicated. I was doing all kind of nasty stuff, man. And the person who was in the judicial committee asked me, well, how can you describe it? I'm like, dude, it don't matter if we were swinging from the chimney with chains and whips and everything, man. I fornicate. That's all you need to know, man. You want to sit there and ask me because you sitting there getting your perv on. Don't try to get your perv on my expense, dude. So, since they got a classified folder, I got me one too. And as I said before, since they're saying that 7 men in New York is a faithful discreet slave, giving us the food at the proper time, let me show you the food that we have been fed. Alright? We're going to take a journey. If you're hungry, keeping up with the illustration of Jesus giving the food at the proper time. If you're hungry, we're going to go to the Watchtower today, alright? And at this Watchtower, they don't just serve Mexican food, they serve Chinese food. So, without any further ado, let me bring out these files, man. Let me bring out this food for you that the faithful discreet slave has been feeding people for over 100 years, man. Let me bring some of this stuff out to you. Tell me what you think about this, man. Tell me what you think about this. Exhibit A. This is old school. This is old school. Alright? From 1943. From the book, The Truth Should Make You Free. Check out what this book said, right? On page 285. This is the food that the faithful and discreet slave in New York was feeding us. This is who Jesus appointed over the Jehovah's Witnesses. It says, man on earth can no more get rid of these demonic heavens than man can by airplane or rockets or other means get up above the air envelope which is about our earthly globe. That's the food we was fed by the faithful and discreet slave. We can't get above the envelope which is above our earthly globe. You mean to tell me out of all this time the science trying to run with the sky and we inside an envelope, man? That's some stir-fried foolishness, homie. Stir-fried foolishness we've been fed. And oh, it looked just so good. But we inside an envelope, which is faithful, and this is what Jehovah was giving the faithful slave to feed to us. Saying we inside an envelope, and man will not be able to penetrate it with a rocket in 1943. But as we seen, we've been to the moon. We got all kind of stuff up there, satellites and all that kind of stuff. All right. So Jehovah, you gave them some wrong food, man, and I don't know what to say about that. That's sad to me, man. We've been feeding that poison. Okay, here's another one. I'm just going through this. I'm going to go through this. I don't have much time, and I'm sorry I'm stalling. But anyway, this is from the Watchtower, January 1st, 1979. This is the food we was fed. Okay. It says, questions from readers, page 30. Is it true that for religious reasons, Jehovah's Witnesses may not become members of the YMCA? It is important to bear in mind that the YMCA was founded with a distinctly religious basis. Okay? Some may sincerely wonder, is religion or interfaith really an aspect of the YMCA? The answer must be yes. That's the food we was fed by the faithful discreet slave. Well, if that's the case, then we shouldn't be going to Mercy General, because Mercy General is a hospital built by Catholics. Most of the nuns work there, right? So we shouldn't be going there. We shouldn't be going to food banks. We shouldn't be going to the Goodwill, because all those things are built by churches or religious things, right? But that's the food we was fed right there, right? Food we was fed. How sad. Let's see. Something else. I'm going to move kind of swiftly through this because, okay. I want to move swiftly through this. I'm sorry I'm going kind of slow. I'm just, trying to get this. I should have had this stuff fixed up, man. I really should have had this stuff fixed up. Okay. Okay. This is another old school, but this was we fed, man. I want you to know this is what we was fed. To say that the faithful discreet slave is 7 men in New York or however much there was, this is the food Jehovah chose to give us at that proper time. Okay? In the united in worship of the only true God. This book came out in, man, 1983. Guess what they said in 1983? It seems evident, and this is on page 112, paragraph 6. It seems evident that the heavenly calling in general was completed by about the year 35 CE. Okay, so the food we was fed at that time in 1983 was that the heavenly calling was closed. No more could go into heaven. The 144,000 people that was going to heaven have already been selected, and unless a few basically fell off, then a couple could come in. But generally speaking, as they said in this book, this was the food we was fed. We was spoon fed this food right here. And anybody who questioned this was saying you being critical and you're going against Jehovah. To say that we are going against this right here. This was going against the food at the proper time. Meaning at that time, this is what Jehovah felt. We need to understand at that proper time. You understand what I'm saying? It seems evident that the heavenly call in general was completed about the year 1935. Okay? That's the food Jehovah gave us a proper time. Now, know Jehovah's omnipotent. Jehovah knows everything. Okay? Jehovah's omniscient. I can't even pronounce the word. That's how great he is. But for some reason, the all-knowing, almighty God said in 2007, he said, wait a minute, the food of proper time was said in 1935, the heavenly calling was closed, but in 2007, Almighty God, Jesus said, you know what? Let me open it back up. Let me see what he said in the Watchtower, May 1st, 2007. When did the calling of Christians to heavenly hope cease? Now again, it said 1935. Jehovah said at the proper time in 1983, the food of proper time said the heavenly call was closed in 1935. In 2007, the all-knowing God said, this is the food we need to be fed, man. It appears that we cannot set a specific date for the... Hold on, I'm reading it backwards. When the calling of Christians to the heavenly hope ended. Okay? Now, both of these come from the faithful slave, right? And faithful slave getting the ingredients from Jehovah and Jesus, right? If that's the case, this is some sweet and sour malarkey, dog. Because they not even going together. They disagreeing with each other, man. So you blaspheming your God when you say that he's giving you this information in 1983, and then later on he said, oh, you know what? It didn't end that time. What's going on? How dare you blaspheme God by saying that, man? And what do we have here? I'm trying to move fast because I don't have that much time on this video camera. And so I can't really emphasize what I'm saying. I just want to hope you guys get the point. That according to the governing body in New York, the faithful and discreet slave is giving us food at the proper time. Meaning at that time, that's what we are meant to be told. That's the food we are meant to be given. Okay? We're not meant to be given everything at a certain time. We're only meant to take in this information. However, later on, the information changed, as you just seen right there. And again, I'm not trying to wake nobody up. I'm trying to get you to think, homie. July 15th, 2013. This was when it was for the audience or for the public. But we had a Watchtower study. It was the first one. Tell us when these things will be. And this is this was studied the week of September 2nd, 2013. Okay. Now, This is the food we got September 2nd, 2013. This is the food at the proper time that all Jehovah's Witnesses study. The food Jehovah said, I want the faithful slave to give you guys, okay? Finally, we examined why Jesus' arrival to appoint the faithful slave over all his belongings did not occur in 1919. Okay? So Jesus' arrival to appoint the faithful slave did not occur in 1919. That's the food we got. However, this book was published in 2014, a year after that was taught to the congregations. This book comes out, and on page 61, paragraph 7, in 1919, he appointed the faithful slave to take the lead among his followers. Let me read that again. Okay, 2013, Jesus' arrival to appoint the faithful slave over all his belongings did not occur in 1919. In 1919, he appointed the faithful slave to take the lead among his followers. In 1919, he did not appoint the faithful slave. In 1919, he appointed the faithful slave. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you, think I'm making this up, go check it out yourself, man. These two books right here, again. Sweet and sour malarkey, dog. Go ahead and eat it if you want to. I see you on the toilet with your diarrhea. What that be looking like? Look at that dime. Look at that fox right there on that envelope. That Watchtower. That's a fox right there. Look at it. She looks so good. Look at that. May 1st, 1989. What they said in here. What was the food that we was given at this time, man? Page 27. Okay, now I'll let you see the covering again for all you old school winners. This is an old school magazine, man. 1989, page 27, paragraph 17. To say that the Bible is incomplete and that we need to rely also on the unstable thinking of imperfect, uninspired man is to deny the power of God. So basically, to say that we must rely on the unstable thinking of the imperfect, uninspired man is to deny the power of God. What they're saying is that if you rely on these things, because as you can see right there, what they was trying to point to was this guy right here. As y'all know who that is, that's Pope. I think that's Pope John Paul. They were trying to point to him, man, that these people, a lot of people saying he was infallible. The Pope, the Catholics believe he was infallible. But the Watchtower come and say, well, to say that he is and you're relying upon his thinking, that's to deny the power of God. What that is, next year, look what they said about the faithful slave. Look what they said about the faithful slave, man. The governing body is neither inspired nor perfect. So you witnesses who are relying on them, you're denying the power of God. According to the food in 1989, you're denying the power of God when you're relying on them. These 7 men right here. These 7 dudes right here in the Brooklyn Tabernacle. Or the Brooklyn headquarters, man. You're denying the power of God to rely upon them because they just said they're not inspired and they're not perfect. Jehovah, how could you give us this imperfect food, man? How could you contradict yourself, man? And one year you say something, next year you come out and say, oh no, I was wrong. But again, I'm not trying to wake nobody up. I'm trying to get y'all to think, man. Just think about my words, man. This is the elder's letter. It's the elder's letter regarding sexual abuse of children. This is the food to the elders. It says, this letter replaces the letter dated October 1st, 2012. How can food be replaced? Man, if it was healthy for you, how can it be replaced? Okay, this was instructions said to all bodies of elders regarding child abuse. Okay. When child abuse is reported in number 8, it says 2 elders should immediately call the legal department regarding any prison inmate, baptized or unbaptized, who has been accused of child abuse. Immediately call the legal department. We are referring to an adult guilty of sexual abuse, a minor. Okay? This is the food at the proper time to the elders. Information concerning individuals associated with the congregation and accused of child sexual abuse, including letters of introduction, should be placed in an envelope, just like I got right here. So if you got information of a child abuse person, as I said before in the first time, the elders have files on every publisher in the congregation. If that person is a child pedophile, it's in that folder in the congregation. But now they're telling them to destroy it. I wonder why. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. It should be placed in an envelope labeled with the individual's name and marked "Do not destroy." This envelope should be kept indefinitely in the congregation's confidential files. So, the food at the proper time that the elders have been given from the Faithful Discreet slave in New York is, don't call the police when a child comes and tell the elder that they have been sexually abused. No, call the legal department. Call the legal department. You understand what I'm saying? What they gave you was some chitlins. The favorite slave gave you some chitlins, elders. And y'all ate it without hot sauce or even cleaning it out. Y'all didn't even take the time to clean it in the sink. You just poured it in the pot and ate it. Hog maws and all. That was hog maws the favorite slave gave to y'all. You don't call no legal department when somebody come and tell you a child is being molested and you send that child back home. No. Call the police. But again, the food at the proper time is to say go ahead and call the legal department, because that's mostly what they're concerned about. The legalities are the reputation of the congregation. Not the little children. No. This is the food. The faithful slave, if the faithful slave is really if the 7 men in New York, or the governing body in New York, is really the faithful slave of Matthew 24, this is the food we have been fed. Again, I'm not waking nobody else. Think, is this really food? This sound like food that's coming from Jehovah? Here's another. I did a video about the Mormons about a year ago. Their Book of Mormons. Okay. Now, this is the food faithful slave produced in 1898. The Bible versus the evolution theory. This was something that the old Theology Quarterly. This is what the Watchtower used to produce back in the. They don't produce it no more. I think they produce Kingdom News things now. But old Theology Quarterly, they used to produce these, and they used to give them out to people. People can go hand them out a long time ago. Okay. But someone was asking about the different races in here, and this is from 1989. But this is the Bible versus evolution theory. And I want you to hear what this talks about. It said, it may conflict with our prejudice. Okay? He's talking about the different skin colors, and if one is superior to the other. Okay, it says, I cannot see that God is the respecter of persons. Africa still lies in darkness. India and China have lain in darkness for 18 centuries, but to Europe and through Europe to America, the Lord has been pleased to send the light of the gospel. Nor are we to suppose that the coming of the gospel light to these lands must have been so greatly blessed by it was a matter of chance or accident. It was from these provincial lightings of the gospel lamps in Europe that all the great blessings which we have received have reached us proceeded. Are they a manifestation of divine election or selection? The none elect and none enlightened are similarly and proportionally uncondemned. God may have been, has been a respecter of races, and specifically blessed and favored certain branches of the Aryan race in Europe and America. The fact that the white race has been more abundantly blessed is not to be understood to signify that when members of other races heard and appreciated the gospel, they were repulsed or rejected by the Lord. The elect church will probably be composed chiefly of the highly favored white race. Yep, it's getting late, y'all. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. This is that food they fed to the slaves back in the day. That spoiled rotten food they gave to the slaves, man. Go ahead and eat it up. Okay? These words so loud I can't even see this, man. But a lot of racism in this stuff, man. This is Zion's Watchtower of July 15, 1902. Go check those out, man. You can check them out. A lot of racism in here. Let me just read a little bit. I'm not gonna. But this is the food that the fabled slaves getting. It says, while it's true that the white race exhibits some qualities of superiority over any other, what? That the gospel was divinely directed into Europe is most manifest. Perhaps the Lord intends to show that the typical Israel was a stiff-necked generation, so also spiritual Israel will be taken from amongst similar classes. Nor declared perfectly a Ham's characteristic which he led him to unseemly conduct disrespectful to his father will be found cropping out later, inherited by his sons. And prophetically he foretold that this degeneracy would mark the prosperity of Canaan, degrading him, making him servile. We are not able to determine to a certainty that the sons of Ham and Canaan are the Negroes, but we consider that general view as probable as any other. It's the food at the proper time, folks. Pure white supremacy and racism right in the Watchtower, man. It's the food Jehovah gave. Wow. That is funny. Go ahead and eat them spiritual chitlins, folks. Go ahead and eat that spiritual hog maws that they feeding us. I don't mess with the swine. Y'all can have it. You Joe winners who want to take this and say, oh yeah, the favorite discreet slave is the amen in New York, go ahead and eat that nasty, uncooked, raw food that they keep having to switch ingredients in. That they say, oh, you know what? No, that's not pork. That's just imitation pork. But you know what? Later on, they changed their mind and said, oh, you know what? It was something else. You guys crazy, man. But now, without any further ado, here we go. We're going to get into this. I want you guys to understand that the faithful and discreet slave, who is the faithful and discreet slave? Jesus never answers the question, and to actually answer it for him will be a little, a little presumptuous, don't you think? I want to read this and explain to you what Jesus was really saying without answering who the faithful and discreet slave is. Matthew 24, 45 to 47. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom his master has set over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of the servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and he will cut him in pieces, and put him with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, do you see anywhere in there where Jesus said that, or that this was a class of people? You see anywhere in there where it said Jesus would be a class of people? And this is what I don't understand, man. This is what I don't understand. Okay? What the Watchtower teaches is that these 8 men is the favorite discreet slave that Jesus was talking about. Jesus was in Jerusalem when he said this, right? He was in Jerusalem, I do believe. Do you really believe that Jesus was saying in the future, in a year in New York, only New York, a Faithful Discreet slave class is going to be there. You understand that according to this book, the Faithful Discreet slave or the governing body looks over 6 committees. Okay? Now, the interesting thing, I'm going to get to this in a minute. Because they love saying that there's a class, there's a composite body. Let me read this again to you. And I want you to think, man, think. Who then is the faithful and wise servant? That's singular, homie. It doesn't say who is the faithful and wise servant class, dude. Now, I'm just wondering because whoever's over the writing committee, right? There's a writing committee who's responsible for scriptural understanding, right? All these dudes are wearing glasses, man. So I wonder if that's coming into play when you're looking at the scriptures and seeing things that's not there, man. Take them Chuck Bonet glasses off, man. You got Chuck Bonet glasses, man. You seeing stuff that's not there, man. Let me read this again. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, man? Not who is the faithful and wise servant body? What? Take them glasses off, man. What? Maybe I don't see it. Maybe I don't see where it say faithful and discreet slave class. Where is that in the Bible, man? Where is the class in the Bible? Jesus talking about an individual. Talking about no class of people, man. This is an individual he's talking about. Where do you see faithful and discreet slave class in Matthew 24:45? Show me, man. Show me. You got them big old Chuck Bonet glasses on, man. Take them jokers off your face, man. Y'all looking at the wrong thing. Whoever's on the writing department, you got them glasses x-raying through some pages that's not even there. When Jesus said, who then, or who therefore is a faithful slave, he was referring to something he spoke before that. If you read the context, you understand that he said, therefore you must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not know. So keeping that in mind, when the apostles heard him preach about the last days and the signs they gave when the temple was to be destroyed, he was saying, you don't know when this is going to happen. You just got to stay awake. But in the meantime, are you going to be faithful or are you going to be wicked? That was the thing they was thinking about. When they heard Jesus say, they weren't thinking about, okay, this is going to be a group of men that we got to look at for service. No, Jesus pointed to them. You don't know when I'm coming back. So in the meantime, are you going to be faithful when I come back? Or are you going to be a wicked individual saying in your heart that the master is not coming back? That's what he was saying, man. That's what he was saying. So while these 7 individuals in New York could be faithful and discreet, they're not the only one. That's blasphemy, man. That's saying that God, when Jesus said this in Jerusalem back in 33 CE, he was talking about something way in New York. They didn't even know New York existed. They was looking for a New Jerusalem, not a New York, man. How? Out of all places, he picked people in New York. Same place Charles Russell's from. How Charles Russell, where he's from? That's like the moment in Utah. Everything is in Utah, man. Everything is where the founder is always at. That's where God's place is. That ain't make no sense. How did God just pick New York? And you got people all over the world, but New York is the only place he picked. Coincidentally, that's where Charles Russell's from. Just like me, from a certain area. And that's what God said, that's where I want my people to be at. That's where I want my faithful slave to be at. Come on, man. If you look at the context and look at the background of what they would understand that to be. That if you had slaves, if I had slaves or servant, and I went on a trip, I would put someone over to continue to serve them. But he would not be a master or somebody who dictate what they are to believe. No, we are all servants. However, you need someone to continue to provide for these servants when I'm gone. A steward. However, that steward does not go around being master. All he is a servant. And that's what all of us Christians are. We are servants, right? We are servants, right? Ain't that what we are? Now, Matthew 23, verse 12. This is the principle Jesus always tried to teach his disciples, because he's always arguing about who was the greatest among himself. What Jesus wanted them to recognize in Matthew 23:11, whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but check this out. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Okay, I think I read the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Matthew 23:11. The greatest among you will be your servant. That's what Christianity is all about. Service. So when it comes to being faithful and discreet slave, or faithful, discreet slave, or servant, that's the Christian who serves other Christians. And we got to be faithful in that, man. But again, you have the wicked servant who will sit there throughout all those Christians in the world will say, well, Jesus is not coming back. Let me go ahead and get drunk. Let me go ahead and live it up. Let me eat and drink because Jesus is not coming back. And you beating your other brother and sister verbally. You're shunning them. You're doing everything wrong instead of serving God, whole soul, and not remaining faithful. That's what Jesus is saying. You understand what I'm talking about? And again, I hope my video does not run out. But the point is, where do you see faithful and slave class? There's no such thing as a class in Matthew. Jesus was said class if you want people to understand class. There's certain Greek words that are plural. There's certain Hebrew words that are plural. But this is singular, man. Servant. Faithful and discreet is a servant. Faithful and discreet is servant. Faithful and discreet servant, man. Where do you see class at in Matthew 24:45? I'm just wondering, am I the only one getting this? Or am I the only one thinking? Who really then is the faithful slave? When he said, you don't know when I'm coming back. No one knows when I'm coming back. No one knows but the Father. He was saying that with that in mind, when I do come back, who will I find faithful? Will I find this faith on the earth? Who am I going to find faithful when I come back? This is the last scripture I want to read to you. And this is going to emphasize what I'm talking about to really show you that this faithful and discreet servant is applying to all Christians. Okay? This applies to all Christians who are serving others and giving them that food at the proper time. This is not no group of men in New York, man. Kind of. Here it is. Matthew 25:14. For it would be like a man going on a journey, or Jesus when he said he's leaving, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property, right? Or gave them stewardship over his property, right? 25 verse 15. To one he gave 5 talents, and all the way down he gave 2, and then another one he gave 1. Now, if you go down to 25 verse 20, and it says, and he who received the 5 talents came forward bringing 5 talents more. This is when the master came back, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 more talents. So what he did, he took the talents and he was faithful with it. Look what the master said. His master said to him, well done. Check this out. Good and faithful servant. There it is. Good and faithful servant, or faithful and discreet slave. Referred to individuals who Jesus gave the talents to and they used it rightly. Wasn't no group of men in New York, man. Stop speaking that mess, man. That doesn't make no sense, dude. Now, when they talk about the evil slave, check this out. In verse 26, but his master said to him, you wicked, or you evil and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have scattered no seed. And then in verse 30, and cast the worthless servant into outer darkness. That place they were weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's where the same place where the wicked servant will be. So, hope I articulated that good enough to you. And again, this is what I see out this scripture. Whatever you understand a faithful discreet slave to be, that's what you understand. But whatever you see, try to be that. Because I do believe Jesus is returning soon. Will he find you faithful in what you're doing? That's the whole point of what it's saying. we're not depending on these men in New York to be faithful. They have to deal with their own thing. But when Jesus come back, he's gonna find us being a faithful slave or the wicked one. That's the whole point of that. Because we don't know when he's coming back. Okay? Now my time's running out. I hope you guys got something out of this. And oh yeah. I actually hacked into the JW broadcast. You guys are gonna love this. And if you watched the December, I think when Garrett Loesch was on there, I didn't really understand what he's talking about. Maybe, I don't know. My mind is like, it's not really clicking in. But I hacked into it, and they got some deleted scenes, and I got the deleted scene of what Loesch was really saying to the congregation, right? Now, this is it. I'm out. Until next time, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. But check out Garrett Loesch and what he was really saying. Between the lines. Here it is, all right? Exclusive to you all. Garrett Loesch. The exclusive deleted scene of what the faithful discreet slave is saying to you all. That we're over you guys, and this is what they're saying to you. Alright? Thank you for watching my video. Take a listen to Garrett Loesch, man. Until next time, I'm out.
Hello, all you happy people. You know what? I'm the hero.